Alrighty guys, time for some bayhem. So Ambulance is the latest film from Michael Bay, and it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and Isaac Gonzalez. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's character is trying to get money for his wife's surgery. He is presented with an opportunity when his brother, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, says, "Hey, I can get you that money, and even more so if you do this thing for me." Unfortunately, that job goes wrong, and they're trying to escape from that certain situation. They stumble across, you guessed it, an ambulance. Roll credits. In this ambulance are two people, one played by Isaac Gonzalez and a wounded cop, and they must try and figure out how to get out of the situation while trying to keep this cop alive. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Ambulance.
Excellent!
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Ambulance was a movie that I was actually looking forward to, which I know is gonna blow your guys' minds out there. When I was at CinemaCon last year, they had shown the first trailer there, and I was just thinking, a Michael Bay movie that looks good? Michael Bay is very hit or miss for me. There are some films that I like from him, like, for example, the first Bad Boys film I really enjoy, 13 Hours. I've come to enjoy Pain and Gain more as time has gone around, and I actually do enjoy the first Transformers film along with The Island. However, with that being said, there are some films from him that I do not like at all. Bad Boys 2, the Transformers sequels, for example, Revenge of the Fallen, Age of Extinction. Oh my god, Age of Extinction, holy crap. I was not going into this film expecting the greatest story, the greatest characters, the greatest script, dialogue, or whatever. I went into this film wanting one particular thing. Just a pure adrenaline rush with good performances, good action, and with hopefully a good score. I cannot believe I'm about to say it, guys, but here we go. Walking out, I actually really enjoyed Ambulance. Jake Gyllenhaal, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and Isaac Gonzalez, the three main leads in particular, I thought were really good in this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors out there, and I am stunned over the fact that he was stuck for Nightcrawler all those years back. Yeah, I haven't forgot about that. But I thought he looked like he was having such a fun time in this role, playing this character that is a bit unhinged, and if pushed in just the right direction, he will cross that line. He has a couple of lines that, honest to God, had me laugh a couple of times. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is slowly becoming one of my favorite actors working today. I mean, I loved him in Watchmen, loved him in Candyman, even though I didn't particularly enjoy Candyman. But now this one, he's a much more mature character. He wants to take more responsibility, and you can tell he does not want to be in the situation, but he has to because of, well, dire circumstances, and he is given the opportunity, and he will take it in this movie. And honest to God, I thought he was so good in this movie. There's a particular part where, dang, he goes for it. Out of all the performances in this movie, the standout here for me was Isaac Gonzalez, and this really surprised me for one particular reason. If you guys have seen any Michael Bay movie, and I mean any Michael Bay film, you will know that Michael Bay tends to really sexualize his actresses in his movies. I mean, he will shoot them in certain angles, and he really tends to make them not the most fully dimensional characters. But again, in this movie, I wasn't expecting the most dimensional characters. Do not get me wrong, Isaac Gonzalez is not hard to look at whatsoever. She is a beautiful actress, but really, when you watch her act in this movie, she brings so much to this movie, and she is the character besides Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's character that you do gravitate towards. She's a badass in this movie. She knows what she is doing. She's not just this Barbie doll there to look sexy. She gets shit done, and there are times where, holy crap, she brings it. One of the things I really appreciate about this movie is this: Ambulance is a movie that knows exactly what it is. If you're going to this movie looking for an Oscar-worthy movie with the greatest action sequences, the greatest scripting characters, you're gonna be so disappointed in this movie. If you're going into this film looking for just a pure adrenaline rush, mayhem, cars going everywhere, and a surprisingly well-made thriller, I think you'll like this movie. I went to this movie only wanting a good time, my heart pounding like a mother F. And I got what I wanted from this movie. The setup of this movie is relatively short. It just does enough setup for the characters, the plot, because here's the thing, guys. When this movie gets going, it goes and it does not stop. I mean, this movie is fully high octane from the moment that that movie goes into the bank robbery sequence. It is non-stop adrenaline. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There are times in this movie where it does break and it does slow down on that gas pedal a little bit. When it fully goes onto that pedal, it just goes, and I cannot deny to you guys, I was having a lot of fun with this movie. This is a movie that for the most part is contained in this ambulance. These three people not only trying to get away from the cops, but trying to keep this cop away from death. And I gotta tell you guys that when it sticks to that story in this movie, it is really, really well done. Now, it's nothing amazing by any sorts of the imagination, but when this movie sticks into that pocket, it's surprisingly a well-made film. It's really intense, it's suspenseful. Like, there is a particular scene that involves, well, an operation, and even if it gets absurd at times, to which, oh, it does, at the same time, I was really enjoying myself with this movie. Going on to the next thing, and this really surprised me, and in fact, this actually blew my mind a couple of times. More than most of the time, the cinematography here is actually really, really good. If you didn't know this already, this movie uses a lot of drone shots, and the drone shots in this movie I thought were unbelievable. And a fun fact for you guys, there were two drone shot operators in this movie. They were 19 years old. The shots that they get in this movie, there's a couple of shots in this movie that, honest to God, I just went, whoa, that was sick. There's a couple of shots in this movie that, honest to God, I don't know how they captured that. The action in this movie is really well orchestrated. I mean, some of the action is so well filmed in this movie that by the way, really quick, I just realized, I apologize guys really quick, I'm a bit all over the place. Ambulance was shot in 21 days. Let me repeat myself here. 21 days. Given how chaotic this movie's action is, a lot of the time, I gotta be honest with you guys, I was really impressed by how well the action does flow in this movie, for the most part, once again with that statement. Something else that I gotta talk about is the film score by Lauren Balfe. Please tell me below if I'm pronouncing it wrong either way. There's a couple of parts that score me on the edge of my seat, and I cannot deny this to you guys. On my way home, I was listening to the music of this movie.
Well, that's just fucking great!
With that being said though, are there issues with this movie? Yes. Ambulance almost runs at 2.5 hours long. I think of almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think like 2 hours and 15. This movie is way too long. Now, I cannot deny to you guys, I was definitely not bored in this movie. I was actually quite engaged for every single minute of this movie's runtime. At the same time, there were definitely times throughout the entire film where you could feel the movie's runtime. When they're sticking of that pocket of these guys in an ambulance trying to not only keep this cop alive, but trying to get away from these cops, that is when the film's at its strongest. But then it cuts the storyline involving this other group, to which it does have a reason for being in this story, especially for the payoff thing, which I thought was actually pretty sweet. At the same time though, every time they cut to this storyline, it felt just really out of place from the main story that Michael Bay was trying to tell in this movie. At times, the editing was a bit too much. There are times the editing does get a little bit too much, and you cannot tell what the heck is going on. And oh god, this next part's making me laugh. There's a couple lines of dialogue, the way how they're delivered, there's even a plot twist in this movie that actually made me go like, you've gotta be kidding me.
And here we go.
So overall guys, and I cannot be about to say this, but I really enjoyed Ambulance. Like, I had a really good time with this movie. Now, do not get me wrong, Ambulance is not a great film by any stretch of the imagination. If you have never been a Michael Bay fan, like if you have never liked any of his films, stay far away from this movie. But if you love all of his movies, you're going to eat this up like a kid at a candy store. But if you're like me, and if you're half and half, and if you're really intrigued by that trailer, I think you'll have a good time with this movie like I did. All in all, guys, I'm gonna give Ambulance a 3.5 out of 5. Again, not a particularly great film by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're just looking for some mayhem, a good time, high-octane action with some really nice suspense, I think you might enjoy this film. So comment down below and let me know, what is the one film in the past, let's say 5 years, that you're really impressed by? let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat, so if y'all want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed my review of Ambulance. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for when my latest review goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click either right there or right there. And of course, until my next review goes live, I will see you all next time.